Shalom, shalom. First and foremost, I want to give all praises, honor, and glory to Yahweh, Bahashem, Yahweh Shai, Bahashem Rachakwadash, Barakatah. Double honors to the elders and apostles and the righteous men of great millstone who teach us this truth and righteousness and sincerity and in brotherly love. Salutations to the hopeful elect, the 144,000 men of Yasharallah, and the 1/3 men, women, and children of Yasharallah that are scattered on all four corners of this earth. Shalom. This is your brother Shamya coming back at you one more time with this quick lesson from the GMS Helena, Montana camp. And Akim, I'm just going to jump right into it. Like I said, I don't want to make this too long, You know, um, a couple of days ago, I was watching on YouTube um, how Asian women, they, the Asian women that run the those manicure salons and pedicure and manicure salons, and Akim, when I was in the world, I would always, it was stupid. It was stupid, and I humbly say that it was stupid because I, was into myself and getting, facials and pedicures and manicures, and because me as a dancer, and being in LA and around dancers and models, you got to look your best, especially when you booking jobs and things like that. So I was into myself when I was in the world, and um, but I was watching this watching one of these videos when the those Asian women, they being the in the manicure pedicure salon, and these Asian women, they do a superb job. And and of course that's Moab. Um, and as I was watching this video, I just realized it's like I seen the Jake woman. They have their salons in the hood and all that. They do a good job, but even these Edomite women, when they have their little, because I'm in like in Helena, and they have all these salons and everything, and it's just nothing but just Edomite women that run this, and they don't, and of course the Edomite women, they do a piss poor job. I just know about that type of stuff. The best women that do remarkable when it comes to pedicures and so and manicures is the Moabite woman. Moab and Ammon. They but hey, that's what they were made to do. That's what to be servants, women servants of the Moab and Ammon. They're women servants. And they do a remarkable job. And when I used to go and get like facials and manicures and pedicures and all that stuff, they make it to where you are so comfortable and you are just it's just something about Moab when they be giving you massages and manicures and pedicures. They do everything meticulously, and you definitely get your money's worth. But I don't want to babble on too much. It's like those Akim, if you wanted to check them out, they on YouTube. They're just put in just like Chinese manicure or um uh Vietnamese manicure pedicures. I mean, a lot of people just look at the videos to just get pointers, and a lot of people just like, oh wow, that feels relaxing. That looks relaxing. But what I wanted to do is I wanted to read something that the Lord had the Spirit, Yahweh Shem Shai, Bashem Rakakwadash Barakatah, had the Spirit jump on me to do this lesson So what I did was after I looked at that video on the video on YouTube a couple of days ago, I decided to just look up, do some research on how Moab, when they doing the manicures and the pedicures and they have their salons and stuff. So what I did was I did some research. And what I want to do is I want to read this real quick and then we're going to bring out a couple of scriptures and then we're going to close it out. Um, but and I'm a title this video, Moab is my washpot. And that's what Yahweh Shem Yahushua said, okay, in the scriptures. Okay, Moab is my washpot. And then when I was doing this research, I was like, man, this fits. Well, it fits us just like us being Israel. If all the curses fits us to a T, just like everybody else, all the other nations, Moab, Ammon, it's like it fits them all to a T. Everything that the Lord said in the scriptures. But let me read this real quick. This is just some statistics that I looked up, and let me just read this real quick. Akim. It says this. Currently, the industry estimates that almost 40% of nail salon technicians in the U.S. are Vietnamese women. The highest density of Vietnamese nail technicians is in California, which makes sense too, because I was living in, that's where I was, L.A., California. That's all you see, all you see in those salons. You know what I'm saying? Ammon and Moab. It says the highest density of Vietnamese nail technicians is in California, where approximately 59 to 80% of nail technicians are of Vietnamese descent. Okay? It says the majority of these women are Vietnamese immigrants. The prevalence of Vietnamese women in the nail salon industry dates back to the Vietnam War, which saw large numbers of Vietnamese immigrants arriving in the United States. Nail salon wages and working conditions in New York City, a major center for nail salons in North America, are poor. So they're basically poor, and they have their talent, which is, serving people and at the same time doing nails and manicures and pedicures and facials and it says in May 2015, an investigation by the New York State Department of Labor, which had been tipped off by a New York Times investigation, had been productive but was incomplete. The manicure workforce consists mostly of recent immigrants from East Asia. Many of the nearly 2,000 nail salons in the New York City area are owned by Koreans. See, I did not know that. That's why the Lord had the Spirit jump on me to research this, and I was okay. I was shocked. The Lord works in marvelous ways. It says, so the New York City area are owned by Koreans, while Hispanics are on the bottom. Because you got Issachar, the Issacharite women up there. It's like I said, it's just like the Judite woman. It's like, they do a good job, but they and you especially the Judite woman, they take it to the extreme, long ass nails and colorful shit and all this shit. Um, but that's some Judite Issacharite shit right there. But Moab and Ammon, they do a superb job. They keep it simple, but you can tell that it's remarkable work. It says so Issachar and Judah, they do a good job, but not as good as Moab and Ammon, because that's what they're designed to do. It's to serve and and it's scriptural. We had Moabite women servants, and I know for sure that they did a good job, and Jake loved Moab. A lot of Jake loved Moab. Okay, you get a Moabite or an Ammonite, they will serve you and do everything in their heart to serve and please the man that they with. You know, it says, and then let me read this real quick. So then I did some more research too, Akim. I did this. It says it was this book that this guy wrote. It's called Moab is My Washpot. And the guy that published this book, his name was Stephen Fry, and he published this book in 1997. Now, I think if I can remember, I didn't. Well, let me just keep reading because I think this guy, the book was about himself, but he made the title like this. It says, um, yeah, Stephen Fry published in 1997. It says the title never explains the text of the book. So yeah, he didn't explain it. Um, but he said it's a verse found in Psalm 60 and in Psalms 108. So I found that very interesting. I looked at the dude's picture. This Arthur, he looked like an Edomite, but um, uh, you know, and but yeah, he got his inspiration from Psalm 60 and Psalms 108, which we're gonna read. It says, um, through wearing sandals, people's feet would become filthy in the dusty desert environment, and upon entering a home, feet would be washed with water by pouring water over them into a washpot. Let me read that one more time. Through wearing sandals, this is what this author wrote. Through wearing sandals, people's feet would become filthy in the desert, in a dusty desert environment, and upon entering a home, feet would be washed with water by pouring water over them into a washpot. Okay, it says Moab, which had threatened Israel, was to be so completely subdued that it became likened to a washpot or basin. This is what this guy wrote. You know, and we're gonna read it too in the scriptures. It says, so then what I did was I looked up the definition for washpot. Okay, it says, what is a washpot in the Bible? It says Moab was a region of the Holy Land east of Israel. The words used here seem to be an expression of contempt. And then that word contempt means at that time, Salakia, Akim. It said the word contempt is the feeling that a person or a thing is beneath consideration, worthless, or deserving scorn. Okay? Didn't Yahweh Shem Yahushai say in Isaiah and in the Apocrypha, the Lord said, the nations before him are as nothing, worthless, the bottom. Okay? It says, at that time, the washpot was used to cleanse dirty feet. Okay? So now let's just jump right into it. Let's go to the book of Psalm 60 and 8. Psalm 60 and 8. Okay? Because these heathen ass motherfuckers are gonna be our servants in the kingdom, and we're gonna be ruling them over in righteousness. But we're gonna be ruling over them. They're going to be our servant. We're going to read it. This is Psalms 60. Psalm 60. And I'm going to start at verse 8. Moab, which is the so-called Chinese of today, because all the nations are still on the earth. Edom is still on the earth. Israel is still on the earth. That's us, you so-called Negroes, Latinos, and Native Americans. Okay? It says, verse 8, Moab is my washpot. This is Yahweh Shem Yahushai speaking. Over Edom, see, they go Edom, will I cast out my shoe. Okay? Philistia, triumph thou because of me. Read one more time. Moab is my washpot. Over Edom will I cast out my shoe. Philistia, triumph thou because of me. Now, let me read this real quick. Because we know what it means. It's like, we're going to read this real quick in Psalms chapter 60, verse 8 in the American Standard Version Bible. And this is what it says. This is what Yahweh Shem Yahushai says. Moab is my washpot. Upon Edom will I cast my shoes. So the Lord, you take off these shoes and throw it at Edom. You know what I'm saying? Just throw it at Edom, the whole nation of Esau, Edom. Okay? But Moab is the Lord's washpot. Okay? Spiritually. Okay? But physically, Moab, but that's going to be one of the nations in the kingdom that's going to be serving us. They're going to be our servants, and they're going to have their wash pots just like they do in the salons and they have their wash pots right there ready. You can soak your feet into it. Y'all know what I'm talking about. We've seen it every time we walk up in there. You got Moab right there at the tip of people's feet with the wash pot right there, and then they start getting to work. It says, read it one more time, Psalm 60 and 8, American Standard Version. Moab is my washpot. Upon Edom will I cast my shoes. Philistia, shout thou because of me. Okay? So the Lord, at the end of the day, man, the Lord is going to triumph. And he's going to trample all these nations. He's going to bring all these nations down. And then in the kingdom to come, we're going to read it. Just read it, okay? Now, Psalm 60 and 8, in the Amplified Translation, it says this. Moab is my wash bowl. Over Edom I shall throw my Over Edom I shall throw my shoe. I mean, that's what we want to do. We want to throw our fucking shoe at fucking Esau, Edom. These motherfuckers, man. I'm telling you, Akim and Alquat, this Edomite, this dude is waxing worse and worse. And every single day I fucking hate this Edomite. And I give all praises, honor, and glory to Yahweh Shem Yahushai, because the Lord is putting that ancient spirit back on us, that ancient hatred that we have for the fucking whole nation of Esau, Edom. Idumea. Goddamn devils. But anyway, it says, Moab, Amplified Translation, Psalm 60 and 8, Moab is my wash bowl. Over Edom I shall throw my shoe and triumph. The Lord is going to throw his shoe at the nation of Edom and triumph. The Lord Yahweh Shem Yahushai is going to triumph over Esau, Edom, over all these heathen ass motherfucking nations. And it's going to be glorious. Call halayim Yahweh Shem Yahushai Ba'ashem Rakakwadash Barakatah. Okay? It says, over Philistia I raised the shout of victory. Man, the Lord is wonderful, man. That's beautiful. But let's keep going. Okay, now we're gonna go to Isaiah chapter 14 and verse 2, just to put the cherry on top. Okay, this is Isaiah chapter 14. Isaiah chapter 14 and verse. Matter of fact, I'm gonna read from the top. I'm gonna just take it all the way down because the Lord want me to. Okay, now, and I'm gonna start at the first verse just to get the understanding who this is talking about. It said, and this Yahweh Shem Yahushai speaking to his people. For the Lord, Yahweh Bahashem Yahushai, will I have mercy on Jacob, and will yet choose Israel, and set them in their own land. So this is a future prophecy that haven't happened yet. Just goes to show that those motherfuckers over there in the Holy Land, Israel, right now, they're not the people. The Lord said right here, for the Lord Yahweh Shai will have mercy on Jacob and will yet choose Israel and set them in their own land, and the strangers shall be joined with them, and they shall cleave to the house of Jacob. Okay? It says, verse 2, I'm just getting to the points, Hakim. It says, and the people shall take them and bring them to their place, and the house of Israel shall possess them. When you possess something, that means it's yours. It's yours. Nobody else's. You possess it. It's yours. The house of Israel shall possess them in the land of the Lord, Yahweh Shem Yahushai, for servants and handmaids. They see Moab, Ammon, Edom, okay, Ham, servants and handmaids. And they shall take them captives, whose captives they were, and they shall rule over their oppressors. That doesn't sound like everybody's going to be equal in the kingdom to come. That doesn't sound like equality. Now what I want to do real quick, and we're going to wrap it up, Akim. I'm going to read Isaiah chapter 14 and verse 2 in the International Standard Version, and it reads, many nations, it says, will take them and bring them to their land in their own place, the house of Israel. Okay? So the Lord Yahweh Shem Yahushai he's going to take us home soon, and this is what's going to happen. It says, their own place, the house of Israel will put those nations. So we're about to read to see if all the nations can make it or not, because what we're about to read, that's not going to happen. It's not, all the nations can't make it, because we're going to read right here in the International Standard Version. It says, the house of Israel, Yasharallah, all 12 tribes of Israel, coming back and united, house of Israel will put those nations to conscripted. The word conscripted means to enlist, to enroll. So these heathen ass nations, they're going to have enlisted enrollment jobs. But what is that going to be? It says those nations to conscripted labor in the Lord's land, which is Yasharallah, Israel. They will take captive those who were their captors, and will rule continually over those who oppress them. Real quick, I'm gonna wrap it up. I want to go to the book, and these are going to be the nations right here. This is Psalms 83 and 1. See, that's the spirit to jump right to it. The Wadiyah Bashim Yahushai Bashim Rakakwadash Barakatah. This is Psalms chapter 83 and verse 1. It says, keep not thou silent, O power, Yahweh Bashim Yahushai. Hold not thy peace and be not still, O power. Verse 2, for lo, thine enemies make a tumult, and they that hate thee have lifted up the head. These nations hate us. They have taken crafty counsel against the people and consulted against thy hidden ones. Verse 4, they have said, come and let us cut them off from being a nation, that the name of Israel may be no more in remembrance. This is what we just read right here in a future prophecy. This is one of the reasons why the Lord is going to have these heathen nations be under our subjection. Payback time. But and again, and the Lord Yahweh Shem Shai said that he created this world for our sake, so everything within the world is ours. You know, everything is including the heathen women as our servants. Okay, so it says, verse 5, for they have consulted together with one consent, they are confederate against thee, all these nations. And verse 6, look at the first one it says is Edom. Okay, the Ishmaelites of Moab, there go Moab, and the Hagarenes, Gebal and Ammon, and Amalek, the Philistines, with the inhabitants of Tyre. Assur also is joined with them. They have hope in the children of Lot. Salah. So, and just to make a long story short, Moab is right there. They consulted and came together. They became confederate. All these nations right here tried to destroy the nation of Israel. That's why in the kingdom, when the Lord has the kingdom set up, I'm going to have my my Moabite women servants,